Greetings and welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today's topic is on the dangers of isolation. And a lot of us self-isolate, especially if we've been hurt or if we're afraid or if we don't want to deal with something or we are dealing with something, we just don't want other people to be a part of it. And isolation goes hand in hand with vulnerability. And you are vulnerable because you're by yourself, you're stuck in your mind, you're stuck in your emotions and your beliefs and your current perspective. And isolation is really not a good way for us to connect and to grow. And isolation is something that we do as a protective mechanism to not only protect ourselves but to protect others from us. And the thing is, isolation has a really bad effect on the psyche. It's so bad for your mental health because you are not connecting. Remember, with people, iron sharpens iron, and if you're constantly alone, you're going to constantly be focused on the bad things, and that eventually will cause mental health decline. And the more isolated you are, the more likely you are to suffer from mental distress and mental clutter and not being able to fully just go out there and express yourself and be yourself and just step out of your mind for an hour or two. And isolation is something that we do when we cannot face the circumstance or we don't want to acknowledge a potential outcome. And this mental distress that isolation causes in your mind is that you're not able to open up, you're not able to vent. So you build these walls and you build them high. But what you don't realize is that you're not just keeping others out. You are entrapping yourself in your psyche. And what we don't acknowledge, what stays in the dark, will eventually fester in the psyche. And this mental distress can cause you to become very dysregulated, very unable to process emotions, to face challenges and to challenge limitations. So your self-isolation can cause a lot of problems mentally, and it's very bad for your personal development and your growth. And isolation is what causes depression because we create fulfillment through other people and learning from other people and being sociable and connecting. It's one of the most important aspects of our lives is our social life, because the quality of your relationships will determine the quality of your life and how healthy you are and how healthy your habits are. But when you're depressed, you want to be alone. You don't want to share those feelings. And again, it's the fear of being vulnerable that gets most people. And that's why depression is a very lonely process, and it's a very lonely reality instead of mind. And isolation is what causes broken relationships. If we're not actively connecting with someone, then we're disconnecting with them. If we're not actively going out there and trying to get to know each other and learn from each other and sharpen each other, then you're going to lose the important people in your life. And that is a very difficult thought to bear, because if you just want to be alone all the time, it hurts others who want to spend time with you, who want to bond with you. And people who self-isolate a lot tend to have very few friends and not very good connections with their families. And as I said, it's a very lonely process. And the worst part about isolation and self-isolating is the overthinking. Because you are alone the whole time, and you're alone with yourself, you're alone with your thoughts, and it starts to run away. Especially if you're already struggling with depression, then your thoughts tend to run a million miles a second, and it becomes very difficult and very overwhelming to analyze every single situation. And it's mentally exhausting, again, pointing to the mental distress that it causes. This overthinking is very dangerous for the psyche. And if you're out there and you are socializing and forming healthy connections, then you'll be less likely to overthink, unless you have social anxiety. But being social is the only way to challenge it and to grow from it. And the problem with self-isolation is it can cause trouble with regulating emotions, because you are not aware all the time of what you're feeling. When you're around other people, you get these uncomfortable emotions when you're a very isolated person, and it becomes very difficult for you to manage what's happening with the overthinking. Because remember, emotion and thought go hand in hand, and if you're overthinking the whole time, then you're going to struggle with emotional regulation and being able to manage your emotions. But not just that, manage the intensities that come with the emotions. And it can be very difficult to regulate, especially if you don't have a healthy outlet or you have someone that you can vent to. Remember, by nature, we are social creatures. We are like sandpaper to each other. We sharpen each other. We polish each other. We have to connect. It's how we learn. It's how we grow within ourselves. It's how we learn to create healthy relationships, which will eventually create a great quality of life for us. And it will even motivate you to engage in healthier and better habits when you just become a little bit more focused on what it's like to connect. And isolation really reduces your quality of life, because at the end of the day, you get to a point where you just don't know how to socialize anymore. You become a hermit for so long that you don't know how to converse. You don't know how to build connections. And it's a very lonely life. And because of that, you feel unfulfilled. You feel empty. You feel like there is this hole in your life and you can't figure out why. Well, if you're lonely the whole time, then you are going to be missing something, because relationships in your social life is an aspect of your life that needs to be healthy and needs to be balanced and needs to be maintained. There are many areas of your life, from work, leisure, family, social, career, or all of those things. But your relationships and your social life is what's going to affect all of that. And when you isolate, you're going to find that letting go and moving on is very, very difficult. You won't be able to fully understand that we have to let things go. And when you're isolated, you are in your thoughts the whole time, and it makes it very difficult. Overthinking makes it very difficult to let go. And isolation limits your opportunities, because remember, we create opportunities through people and through learning from other people. And if you are not socializing, you are not opening your doors to great possibilities. I'm going to reiterate, it's a lonely, lonely life. and it's really not good for you. It's going to keep you stuck and stagnant. But if you start focusing on connecting and strengthening your bonds, you'll find that you will in yourself grow in strength and courage. So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.